Find a nice comfortable seat. We just need a blanket today as a prop. If you would like to play music, the beauty of having yoga over Zoom is that you can play whatever music you'd like. We'll just keep everybody muted. So just arriving in this space. Rooting down into your sit bones, noticing what is touching the floor. And then rising up through the crown of the head, getting nice and long in the spine. Maybe closing your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And bringing your attention to your breath. Today we'll focus on the heart and the heart chakra. The heart is the place of our compassion, our kindness, our love. And we'll set an intention to not pay attention to what our poses look like, but rather what they feel like in the heart, what they feel like in the body. And so maybe fluttering your eyes open. And we'll start a little movement with the breath. So inhale your shoulders up to your ears and exhale back down the back. Inhale up to your ears. Exhale down the back. Inhale up and exhale down. And then coming to stillness. And then we'll bring our chin to our chest. Let your head hang heavy here. And look over the left shoulder. And look up at the sky. Over the right shoulder. And then chin to chest. One more time, just like that. Looking over the shoulder. Up at the sky. Over the right shoulder. And chin to chest. And then coming back to neutral. Bring your hands together at your heart space. Bring your thumbs to really press into the heart, really noticing what that feels like. Breathing here, nice big inhale. And exhale. In. And out. And clasp your hands together and push away. Nice big inhale here. And exhale. And then inhale over your head. Push, push, push away. And exhale, bring your hands behind your head, bringing your elbows back. Inhaling and exhaling. Bring your left hand down to the side. Bring your right elbow up towards the sky, maybe even a little further than up to the sky, getting a nice stretch in the side body. Inhale here, pull your elbow back. And then exhale as if you're bringing your elbow towards the knee. Probably doesn't come to the knee, but towards the knee. Then inhale back up. Exhale towards the knee. Inhale up. Exhale towards the knee. Inhale up. And then push yourself back to center. And then switch the crossing of your legs, putting that awkward leg in front, finding your comfortable seat here. Bring your hands to your heart, clasp them the opposite way, the awkward thumb in front, and push away. Inhale here, and exhale. Inhale, rise, and exhale, hands behind your head. Pull the elbows back. Inhale, bring your right hand to the ground. Your left elbow back behind you. Inhale, and reach that elbow up towards the sky. And exhale. Inhale one more time. Pull the elbow back a little in space. And then exhale that elbow towards the right knee. Inhale up to the sky. Exhale towards the knee. Inhale to the sky. Exhale to the knee. And then inhale to the sky. And then exhale, push yourself back up to seated. And then bring your arms to cactus arms. Pull your elbows back. And then as you inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale back to cactus. Inhale up. Exhale to cactus. Inhale up. Exhale to cactus. And then bring your arms behind you, stretching and reaching back, opening up in the heart space. If you can, clasp your hands behind you and open the heart to the sky. And then on your next exhale, just come forward. Now, maybe you just come forward a little, keeping the spine nice and straight, lifting your arms up. If it feels good, you can go further, but not if it doesn't, right? Pain is not something we're looking for here. If it feels good, you can come further. If it doesn't, stay where you are. And on your next inhale, come all the way up. And release your hands. And we'll come to hands and knees. So wrists underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips. Coming to cat and cow. So as you inhale, drop the belly, look forward, lift the tail. Exhale, round the spine, look back towards your thighs. Tuck your tail. Inhale back to cow. Exhale, back to cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Then come back to neutral and stretch your right leg back, tuck the toes, reach your left arm forward, looking down at the floor so your head is in line with your spine. And then maybe lift that right leg up off the floor, maybe just an inch or two, or maybe parallel to the floor. Your choice. See what feels right in your body. This is bird dog. Really push through the heel. It's a really good, strong pose to help our low back get stronger. Push, push, push through the heel, reach through the fingertips. And then bring your left hand down and your right knee down. Push your left foot back, bring your right arm forward, and then lift your left leg any amount, whatever is right in your body, maybe all the way up to parallel, but no more than that. And stretch and reach, feel your spine lengthening. And then bring your hand down and your knee down. Bring your right leg back and then all the way out to the side on the right. Maybe the sole of your foot comes down on the floor, maybe not. Either way, wherever it is, that's your pose. Fine. Start to walk your hands forward, coming down only as far as is comfortable in your body. Maybe, well, just come down as far as is comfortable. Maybe your forehead comes all the way to the floor, but that's not necessary. But you'll feel some sensation in the inner thigh on the right side, in the shoulders. Heart is coming towards the floor. And then slowly start to walk your hands back so they're underneath your shoulders. Swing that right leg all the way over to the left as far as it will go. Look over your left shoulder at the foot. Stretching in the right side body, kind of crunching into the left side body. And then come back to center. Now reach that left leg back and then out over to the side, so out 90 degrees. Maybe you're on the sole of the foot, maybe not. Whatever is fine. Start to walk your hands forward. We're doing a little bit of a puppy pose. We're bowing down to something. We're bringing the heart towards the floor. Heart is anahata in Sanskrit. So anahatasana is a pose we'll do in a minute, but it's very much like this. And then bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Bring that foot, swing it all the way around to the right and look over the right shoulder. So getting a side stretch in the left side body. And then bringing that knee back to meet the right. And tucking your toes and walk your hands forward about a hand's length, maybe 5-6 inches. Press into your fingertips, into your knuckles. Just lift your knees just a little bit off the floor, just a little tiny bit, just for a second here. Notice how that engages your core. And then start to push your tail up to the sky. Keep your knees really bent, super bent. And lengthen in the spine. Feel that you can lengthen as your tailbone comes up. And then straighten your right leg. And then bend it and straighten your left leg. And just going back and forth, walking our downward facing dog. Really pushing away from the floor, letting your head hang heavy. And then bring your knees to the floor. Spread them nice and wide. We'll come to child's pose. So seat to your feet. Let your forehead come to the floor. Stretch your arms out in front. If that doesn't feel good, then they can be alongside your body. Or if your forehead doesn't come to the floor, you can stack your hands or your fists to give your forehead a place to land. I'm just taking a few breaths here. Our heart chakra is right in the middle of the main 7 chakras that go from our tailbone, our root chakra, up into kind of our hips, our sacral chakra, up to our solar plexus. And then the heart is right in the middle. And then we move up to the throat and the third eye and the crown. So right in the middle, it is a place of balance. Now push yourself back up, coming back to your tabletop. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Let your left leg come back a little, as long as it's comfortable for you. Maybe your pose is here, and that's fine. If you can extend your leg back, then that's fine too. Whatever works for you. We're looking for some sensation in the front of the left hip flexor, right in front of the left hip and the quadricep there. Bring your hands up onto your thigh. Find your balance. I find sometimes I lose my balance here. And then sweep your arms up overhead. Nice big inhale here. And exhale, come to cactus arms. And inhale back, your arms back up. Exhale to cactus arms. Inhale, arms come up alongside the ears. Exhale, cactus arms. Beautiful. Now bring your hands back to the ground. Reach your right hand up to the sky, opening up in the heart space, reaching for the sky, sinking in the hips, pushing into that left hand. And then bring your hand back down. Bring your right knee back to meet the left. And just circle your hips for a moment, just circling around, coming a little bit forward, to the side, back, to the side, forward, and then going the other direction. And then bring your left foot forward between your hands and maybe shimmying that right leg back, keeping the knee on the floor. Now, if you don't have enough cushion, you can put a blanket underneath that knee. I stole my husband's mat, so I have 2 mats. So I have plenty of cushion. But always make sure to take care of your knees. when you're here. But just dropping in the hips, finding sensation in the front of the right hip. And then bring your hands up onto the left thigh, find your balance. And reach your arms up to the sky. Maybe even reaching back so much you're doing a little bit of a back bend and looking up at your ceiling. Nice big inhale. And on your exhale, cactus arms. Inhaling, arms come up. Exhale, arms come back to cactus and pull the elbows back, opening up in the heart. Then inhale your arms up. Exhale them back. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Bring your hands back to the floor. Reach up with your left hand, twisting in the body, opening up your heart. So maybe your chest is parallel to the wall if it's able to twist that far. If not, then you are where you are. That's fine. And breathing here. And then bring your left hand back down to the floor. Bring your left knee back to meet the right. And then just come down onto your forearms and slither onto your body like you are a snake. We'll start in Sphinx pose here. So push your pelvis into the floor. Your elbows are under your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide in front of you. You are a sphinx in ancient Egypt. Push down through the feet, down through the hips. Imagine, without actually moving your arms, imagine that you're pulling them back towards your ribs. So maybe they're moving just a skosh, but really feel that we're looking for some sensation in the low back here. Extend in the upper back. You don't have to crank your head up, just let your head be in line with your spine. And breathe. But we're bringing our heart forward through our biceps. And then let your forehead come to the floor. Let your hands come alongside your body. Rest here for a moment. On your next inhale, raise your heart up, raise your hands, raise your feet. Locust pose. Staying here for 2 breaths. And let your forehead come back to the floor. And let your hands and feet relax into the floor. And then on your next inhale, inhale your heart up off the floor. Hands, feet come off the floor. Maybe your feet start to try to come towards each other. Your hands are just coming back, opening in the heart space. Breathe. Notice how the breath comes into the belly. Breathe one more time. And exhale, come all the way forward. Let your head come to the floor. And bring your hands alongside or under your shoulders. And push yourself up to tabletop. Spread your knees nice and wide, toes together, coming back to child's pose. Letting your forehead come down to the floor or to your hands or to your fists, whatever is comfortable in your body. Now come forward up to your hands and knees. And then bring your elbows down so your forearms are on the floor. And just start to reach your hands, just slowly walking your hands forward a little bit at a time. Maybe forehead comes to the floor, maybe not. If it doesn't, then same thing as a child's pose. We stack our hands or our fists, but your hips are over your knees, not like child's pose where they're kind of at your feet. And what you should be feeling is a lot of sensation in the shoulders. We're really opening up. We call this two things, puppy pose or heart pose, anahatasana. So earlier we did this as a bow with our leg out to the side. And now we're just doing the full pose. Really opening up in the shoulders, in the heart space. And then bring one hand back underneath the shoulder, and then the other hand back under the shoulder. Come back to tabletop. And then we'll come to standing on our knees here. And I'll just turn to face you. So, as if we are in mountain pose, right? We're standing up nice and tall, extending in the spine, rising through the crown of the head. Bring your shoulders up towards the ears and back down the spine. Getting a little bit taller here. Press down into the tops of the feet. Feel nice and steady and sturdy. And then reach with your left hand, reach way over to the right and make a big circle, reaching until you're reaching back towards your left foot, maybe to the heel of that foot. Then take your right hand, reach way to the left, making a big circle all the way back. Maybe you graze your heel. And we'll do that a few more times. So reaching with the left hand up and around and grazing that left heel, reaching with the right hand up and around, grazing the right heel. One last time on each side. Up and around. And last one, reaching with that right hand up and around. And then coming back to center. Then maybe for camel pose, we'll start here. So putting maybe your thumbs behind your pelvis here and hands in front. And then push your hips forward and let your hips come back. And keeping your head in line with your spine. This is a beautiful camel, first phase. And maybe it is the phase, maybe this is your camel. And then come back up. Now we'll do camel one more time, and you can do camel just the way we just did it. You know your body better than anyone. It is your best yoga teacher. But your other alternative is to maybe reach back with your either hand, doesn't matter. Reach back towards your heel. Maybe you just get it with the top of your middle finger. And then open up in the chest, really open, open. Bring those shoulder blades together and reach towards the other foot with your other fingertips. Pushing your hips forward. Head is in line with your spine, or if it feels good to you, and only if it feels good, you can let your head drop back. Keep pushing the hips forward. And then let go with one hand, let go with the other. Come back to center. And then inhale your arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, twist over to the right, opening up your arms to a T over to the right. Inhale your arms back to center. And your feet can be tucked, or your toes can be tucked or not tucked. Exhale over to the left side. Inhale back up to center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. And bring your hands all the way back down to the floor. And finding your blanket, will come to a seat on the edge of the blanket. Let your legs come out in front of you. Let your hands push into the floor on either side of your hips, really opening up in the shoulders, letting your heart shine through to the sky. Wow, that's a pretty sky in my little window there. I just noticed. Push through the heels of the feet. Spread your toes wide. Wiggle your toes if you can't spread them. And then bring your right foot out to the side. Bring your left leg in. I'm doing the opposite of what you'll be doing. Sorry about that. Bring your hands to your heart and twist over towards the bent leg. And then reach your hand towards if it's your right hand towards your right foot, or left hand towards left foot, whichever one you're on. Bring that right hand to your hip and just use that elbow, that bent elbow, to open up in the chest. So we're twisting as we're coming forward over the leg. And breathe. And then push your way back up to center, and pressing your left wrist into left bent knee, twisting over to the other side just to get a little counter pose here. And then come back to center. Bring the soles of your feet together and bringing your elbows onto wherever they land, on your thighs, on your knees, on your shins, and really push down into your knees as you resist, like try to push up against your elbows. And then relax your knees. Let them come down. You can continue to put a little pressure onto your legs or your knees if that feels good. If it doesn't feel good to fold over your legs, then just keep a nice straight spine. So many benefits to this pose, opening up in the inside of the thighs, but also it's a great opportunity to show your feet some love. So giving them a little massage wherever it feels good to you. Maybe opening your feet like a book. That's even possible. What can you read there? And then we'll come to the other side. So extend the other leg out. Bring the opposite leg in closer to you. And then hands to heart. Twist over towards that bent leg, reaching towards the extended foot with your heart nice and open. Maybe your hand comes to hip and use that elbow and that shoulder to open up in the heart space. Keep your extended leg active, really pushing through the heel of the foot. Flexing the feet, the foot, I should say. It always surprised me that the color for the heart chakra is green, like green with envy. I always thought it should be red, but it starts with red at the root chakra and kind of follows the rainbow all the way up. So green it is. The color of the heart chakra. And then push yourself back to center. Press your wrist into the inside of that bent knee and twist over to the other side, a little counter pose. And then we'll come onto our back. So with as few of movements as possible, but actually grab your blanket before you go onto your back. Sorry about that. Grab your blanket and see that you put it into a shape that's kind of like this. So it's maybe 2 or 3 inches thick and not too wide, but a little bit wide. And just put it right beside you. We're going to use that maybe for our shavasana. Lovely. So then come onto your back. So if it feels good, roll out your spine. If it doesn't, just gently come onto your back. We will be there in just a moment. So coming all the way down to your spine, bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet onto the floor so that if you reach down towards your feet with your hands, maybe you can just brush the back of your heel. And then press your hands and your feet into the floor and lift up in your hips. Really pushing all the way up. You're coming up with the heart in the hips. Pushing, pushing, pushing upward. So your heart is coming towards your chin. Then on your next exhale, come down very slowly, like you're trying to put one vertebra at a time on the floor. And then Inhale again, pushing into the floor with your feet and your hands, bringing your hips up nice and high, pushing into the hips, up to the sky. Heart comes up towards the chin. Staying here, breathing. And on your next exhale, coming down nice and slowly, one vertebra at a time. And then inhale your way up again, pushing into the floor with hands and feet. And then, if it is available to you, clasp your hands behind your back. Maybe wiggle your shoulders in towards each other. Push your clasped hands into the floor. Bring the hips up even a little bit higher. Bring the heart up a little bit higher. And breathe here. Now push into the soles of your feet as if you're trying to push away from your body. And then pull on your feet like you're trying to pull your mat closer to you, closer to your torso. And push and pull. And then just gently let your hands go. Let your shoulders come back out, and very slowly and gently bring your spine back down onto the floor. And then bring your knees into your chest and roll them around in a big circle. Pushing away, pushing to the sides. Feeling the nice little massage in the low back. And then go the other direction. And then bring both of the soles of the feet to the floor. Extend your left leg up to the sky. Maybe clasp your hands behind the hamstring or behind your thigh. And just pulling that gently towards your body. Now, maybe you extend your right leg long if that's available to you, but if it's not, just keep it bent. That's fine. What we're looking for is a little length in the hamstring. And then bring that leg just over about maybe 6 inches to the right so that it's more in line with your right shoulder. And notice the sensation on the left side of the hip, of the outside of the thigh. Getting into a few different places here. And then bring that foot back onto the floor. And extend your right leg up to the sky, clasping hands behind the thigh, behind the hamstring there, and pulling that leg towards you, either keeping the left leg bent or extending it on the floor. If you're super flexible, maybe you're even holding on up towards your calf, or you're holding on to your toes, but do what's comfortable. It's totally fine if you have a little bend in this right knee. You still, if you're feeling something in your hamstring, then you're doing it. Even if your knee is bent a lot, doesn't matter. We're feeling things with our bodies today, right? We're not worried about how they look. And then bring that foot a little over to the left so that it's in line with your left shoulder. And still pulling in, noticing how that sensation changes. And then bringing that foot back to the floor. Extending both of your legs long and your arms up in a V, coming to a big star shape. See how big you can make your star. Let your fingers spread wide and your toes spread wide, pushing through the heels, reaching through the fingertips. Lifting your hips. Can you lift your hips off the floor? Maybe not, but can you get that sensation? And then relax into the floor. And then bring your feet, the soles of your feet onto the floor, bending your knees and just bringing the knees into the chest. Nice big squeeze here. And then push them away. And pulling them in and push away. And bring the soles of the feet onto the floor. Cross your right leg over the left and then bring the knees back into the chest. And maybe you just hold on at the knees, but if you can, start to walk your hands down your shins and maybe they come to your ankles. Maybe you can even hold on to your feet, but wherever they are, start to pull the feet in opposite directions, or the ankles or the shins, so that you're pulling your right leg over to the left and your left leg over to the right. We're in a reclined cow face pose, just getting a little bit into our hips here. And then letting go of the feet, but keeping them into your knees, into the chest. Bring your arms out to a T, and then let your legs fall over to the left, coming into a twist. Maybe your left hand comes onto right thigh, maybe looking over your right shoulder, and breathing here. In The Little Prince, there's a really nice quote where he says that we learn that it's only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. And so I hope that what you've been experiencing today is the kind of the beauty of yoga that you felt with your heart instead of worrying about how it looks. And bring your knees back to center and uncross your legs. Swish them back and forth like windshield wipers. Just a couple of times. And then come back to stillness. And then cross the left leg over the right. Pull the knees into the chest. And start to walk your hands down your shins. And wherever they end up, that's fine. Just using them to pull the legs in different directions. So whether they're at the shins or the ankles or the feet, all is good. But you should be feeling a pretty nice sensation. On this side, it would be in your left hip. As you pull that left leg over to the right. And breathing here. And let your feet come back, or let go of your feet, I should say. Let your hands come out to a T and let your legs go over to the right. Maybe holding on to the left thigh with right hand and maybe looking over your left shoulder. If it doesn't feel good in your neck, then just look up at the sky. It's really important. We're never looking for pain in yoga. We look for what my teacher used to call sweet discomfort. It's awkward. It's a little weird. It doesn't hurt. It just feels unusual, like something that we don't usually do. But if there's pinching or fiery feelings, that's a sign that you should ease out of whatever pose you're in. And then bring your knees back to center and uncross your legs. Lift your hips just to straighten out your spine a little. Maybe take a big stretch with your arms. And then roll to the side so that you can grab your blanket. And what we'll do here is put that in the middle of your mat, if you have a mat, so that when you lie down onto your back, the bottom of the blanket is about where your bra strap would be if you were wearing one. So middle of your back, kind of upper middle. And then just let yourself come all the way down. Now, I actually like to fold my blanket a little bit so that it's tucked underneath my head a little. Maybe if you have an extra pillow, you might like that, or just fold your blanket up. And then you have two choices here with your legs. You can let them be in regular shavasana, so extending your legs and letting them be wider, your feet be wider than your hips, arms out to your sides. If that doesn't feel good for any reason, just bend your knees. Let your feet be out to the sides a little bit so that your knees knock together. We call that constructive rest pose. But we're opening up the heart. So let your arms be nice and wide. We're just easing into this. It shouldn't be a huge heart opener, but a little bit. So once you've found your space, just breathing into this. Release your jaw. Soften the shoulders. Soften the belly and the hips. Let your arms and your legs feel relaxed and heavy. And stay here for a few minutes of stillness and silence. Bring your awareness back into your body and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes and circle your wrists and ankles. And then take a nice full body stretch and maybe a big yawn. And then bend in the knees and let yourself roll over to the side, rolling off of your blanket. And then push yourself up to seated. Sit up nice and tall. And inhale your arms up to the sky. Exhale to your heart. Inhale up to the sky. And exhale, bring your hands to your forehead as a reminder of kind thoughts to your lips, your kind speech to your heart, kind intention. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.